Greetings, young fools. Today, NOOCH, your Star Wars dad, brings you strategies to use with your starter deck. But first, did you know that back in the day, the Hutts were very skilled at computer programming? And do you know what language they used? JavaScript. Stupid little fat Hutt. Little? Nah, stupid large fat Hutt. No, Star Wars Dad too confused. Anyway, let's get to strategies for your starter deck. Everybody, it was a tough day for old NOOCH, for your Star Wars Dad. It was a tough day. You see that 3,042 trophies? That was like 3,300 before. But I've been working on the starter deck. I put the starter cards in for you guys. What I did was I went back to Jakku. I looked at the cards available in there, and these are the only cards I used in my deck. And I even forgot to use this clone grenader for the bomb squad. I totally forgot to put him in there. Instead, I had a Tauntaun that I just never used because he wasn't available. So I only use cards from Jakku. This is a very limited starter deck that you can use at the beginning. And one of the big challenges here is you have nothing in here that costs less than 3. Everything is 3 or 4 or 5 for the legendaries. And you start at NOOCH's level, you're facing a lot of characters or a lot of cards that are cost 1 or 2. And even for this, you get to Endor, everything is still 3 or 4. Still 3 or 4, all those boom balls in there. You don't get the cheap cards till you get to Hoth. So we're kind of looking at cards available before you get to Hoth. And I don't mind saying, I took a lot of L's today with this. I mean, I'm trying to fight battles. I'm putting in this lower level stuff against higher level stuff. And it was pretty painful. I'm going to show you 4 different battles here. The first one here is against Doopster. Now look at his lineup right off the bat. He's got the Seismic Charge, which is a card that NOOCH does not have. I don't have access to the Boom Balls or Seismic Charge. He's got the 1 cost BB9 and the 1 cost 2 Battle Droids. What those 2 cards allow him to do is continually cycle. Because he's got the lower cost cards and the Seismic Charge, he can just cycle back to the good cards in his deck while NOOCH is struggling just because everything costs 3 or 4. And I got the Tauntaun in there, which I never used the Tauntaun. And that was a real challenge, is how to overcome that. How do I overcome the fact that somebody on the opposite side of me not only has BB9 or BB8 where they can stun me, they can launch out there and get the middle tower, they've got Boomaballs or Seismic Charge, and that stuff is really cheap, so they can just launch it, and boom, they're cycling to the next thing, whereas I can't do that. Well, here's how I countered it. And if this will work for NOOCH at the higher levels against characters with better decks, it'll work for you guys at the lower levels as you're starting off the game with your decks that consist of all cards from Jakku, Endor, all the way up to Hoth. So here's the deal. You start off, you're going to play, it's going to be defense, guys. Defense is how you're going to play this game. Right now, NOOCH is actually in trouble. If Doopster had realized it, he should have just started launching bombing runs at my X-Wing. There's just no reason. He should have bomber, done. And he would have been out of there in a hurry. But he didn't realize it and didn't do it, so that's the deal. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay down a tower on your side of the table. So I'm thinking, for me, I like the Turbo Laser better. It's got more health. It can shoot at units in the air. And early on in the game, everybody's got those air units. Everybody's playing the Imperial Probe Droid or the Durian, who are going to fly around, and the Flame Trooper cannot counter those air units. It's completely vulnerable to an air unit that comes in and just wipes it out. So what I did was, my goal was to lay 1 rear tower on the opposite side of the action, go fight the action over here, lay the tower over on the other side, then try to get enough of an advantage where I could lay the second tower in the rear. And what happens is, every time you lay a tower in your side, or really anywhere on the map, every time you lay a tower anywhere, you advance your ability to deploy units further forward. You lay 1 tower, you go up a couple of ticks. You lay your second tower in your end, you can lay units all the way to 1 dot or 1 tick past that middle barrier. So I can drop anything that's in a straight line or single units directly on that middle tower. Now, I don't want to do it because it's a particle beam. But look at this guy. He's got level 9 troopers there that spawn from Phasma. He's got the seismic charge. He's got particle beams out there. He's dropping the 1-cost battle droids. He's able to cycle through like I was talking about. And I'm still able to come out with a 1-0 tower victory with that being the case. If I could do that with all that stuff going on and all those disadvantages, you guys at your level at the beginning of the game and early on in the game should be able to win against people that have similar decks to you using this same strategy. Now, what are we going to look at next? I was going to look at... we're going to look at... We're going to look at this 3. So here is a 3-0 victory by NOOCH. And you can see NOOCH again has just these, the AT-AT, the 3 Stormtroopers, all these things that cost 3 or 4 across the board. And Darth Vader, he's got Princess Leia, he's got the 1-cost BB-8, he's got Boomaballs, he's got the Sniper, and he's got Ewok Treehouse. This is a really difficult deck to overcome. But you can see that with this defensive strategy, I was able to hold on, and then at the end be able to push forward and win 3-0 against Bruh Homies. Bruh Homies. Also, I should mention, if you've got Princess Leia, and I don't have Seismic Charge, you should beat me all day, every day. He really misused Princess Leia. It's going to happen right here. Tusken's coming out on Princess Leia. I get stunned by BB-8, and then I bomb her and stuff, and then for some reason uses Inspire on just the Grenader. That's a total waste. He should have fought me off with the Grenader and Princess Leia and tried to finish me there, and then dropped another unit, and then Inspired as it went down. So really not a good use of Princess Leia there, because since I don't have Seismic Charge, I really can't stop Princess Leia if she gets close to my tower with that Inspire. You can see right now we got Darth Vader and the Flame Trooper going against this tower, but he's dropped the BB-8 and the Sniper's taking out Vader. Just a lot of difficult things happening here that I can't counter. One thing to note, and you saw it there with the BB-8 drop, and I was able to counter it with Darth Vader's special. Pay attention to what your opponent has. It's not only going to matter for the whole game, it's going to matter for your timing on when to use your legendary champion special. There you see I've got enough of an advantage now. I feel like I've got a good advantage. I took out the tower. I can lay 2 towers down. And if you watch that, when you lay the second tower, the deployment line moves up to just 1 tick above that middle barrier. So if you watch what your opponent has, you can time out your champion specials. That's a pretty good special right there, except he's only got 1 trooper. He just keeps launching the Inspire without a bunch of units. You want to use that Inspire when you got a bunch of porgs sitting there or whatever. So yeah, pay attention to what your opponent's got. You can use your legendary abilities to the right tune. Now, one thing NOOCH just did, I preached against it a lot, is I dropped an unprotected AT-AT on a tower. The big difference is that wasn't a particle beam. You can't drop an unprotected AT-AT or a clone tank on a particle beam. I'm going to kill this Ewok Treehouse here with 3 battle droids, by the way, without support. But if you can get out there against a turbo laser or a flame tower, and you can drop an AT-AT on it, directly on top of it, and that's what you could do by having 2 towers near end. If there's a middle tower, you can drop units directly on that middle tower and really put pressure on your opponent. And that's what I did with that AT-AT. You can also use the AT-AT, like if that tower's down at 500 health, drop the AT-AT down. Doesn't matter what he does at that point, that tower's going to die. You could drop a bunch of battle droids down. By the time they kill the AT-AT, his tower will be dead. So that's how you can use the tanks there at the beginning of the game against your opponents. Let's go on to another battle here. I'm going to go quickly through this one. This is a 5-stud victory. This was kind of fun. And kind of a dominating victory. See, again, he's got the BB-8. He's got the 3 porgs. Those are the 1-cost units for the light side, and those units only cost 1. So your opponent can keep just cycling and cycling and cycling back to the good units in his deck. That's a real serious advantage that I was able to overcome this one. So BB-8's coming on the left. Let's go with 2 times speed. Let's just do a little play-by-play. BB-8 on the left, the battle droids come in to wipe him out. Use the bomber against the Ewok Treehouse. He uses bomber against battle droids. Shouldn't have done that. That's 4 for 3. That's a bad trade. Now we're sitting there, we're waiting. He drops in the Sniper on top of me. The Flame Trooper comes out, takes out the porgs, takes out the Sniper, and we're moving forward. We dropped the second tower, so now we got range into the middle there. He brings in the Ewok glider, but the Stormtroopers take it out and BB-8's life. Flame Trooper's down there going against the tower. Why did he drop a tower directly on top of the Flame Trooper? no one will ever know. That's a horrible decision. Don't do that. AT-AT's coming in, like we just said, to take out that middle tower, but Morov's going to come in and Morov's going to do his job, take out the AT-AT, but not before the AT-AT was able to finish that middle tower. Vader's going down, going to use a special to finish off that tower. Now we got the advantage, and we've inspired a rage quit. The rage quit! Oh my goodness, here it comes. He's sitting at 10, he's doing nothing. He has just walked away from his Apple. He's walked away from his iPad, his iPhone. He said, forget it, NOOCH too good. He said, forget it, NOOCH too good. Oh, let's go back. You can watch me finish off here. Battle over. There's your play-by-play on that one. Again, I built the 2 rear towers first. Build the rear towers, play your defensive game, and you can get that middle later on when you're able to get it during the game. We got one more to watch here. We're going to go to the top. This one is good, and it's also a master class on using Luke Skywalker and a master advisement. Don't drop all your units together in one big bunch. There's too many ways in this game for me to take all that out. Your opponent can... If you got units all in a big bunch, you can use a bomber, a seismic charge, boomer balls. You can use Luke's special, Vader's special. There's just a Boba Fett special. Watch this. All his stuff is dead or close to it. I mean, I took out BB-9 and an entire battalion of battle droids. I got those stormtroopers down to where I can kill them easily. We're going to kill the probe droid easily. And everything I got, now there's 3 porgs still going in on that tower. And now I've got 2 towers up. Because all I needed to do all that was Luke and porgs killed. So that was 8. He killed 3 for battle droids, 3 for his troopers, 1 for another trooper. So that's 7. And he spent 10 on all those units. And I spent 8. And my units are still advancing. He had to build a tower. And that way I was able to get 2 towers up because I had such a huge advantage. So now I've got my 2 towers back, and I'm defending. And I'm saving up energy, waiting for him to see what he's going to do. And what is NOOCH going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to drop the Durian deep. I'm just kind of waiting to see what he's going to do. He's really far, but see how far behind he is in energy? I was at 10, and by the time I dropped, my Durian was almost on top of him. He finally had 8. So we were so far ahead of energy there that the clone tank takes out the middle tower. The Durian kind of actually tanked for the clone tank there. The tower was hitting again, another boom. If you know what your opponent has and you time out your special abilities right, you can do things like kill BB-9 while he's approaching you. Because BB-9 will he'll stun your legendaries. Or at least Vader. He'll stun Vader, Luke, and Yoda. I think that's it. Everybody else can defend against BB-8 or BB-9. So, and then, that's a horrible battle droid drop. I mean, what are you doing? So, if you can time your legendaries, for especially Luke and Vader, you can kill all sorts of stuff with those battles, including like half of his army, like NOOCH did a couple times there. This is looking really good. We know it's going to be a 3-0 victory, right? So we're going to be able to kill that last tower. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? He's at 0 energy. See how he's just not using it? This would be a really good one for you guys to watch back and see how energy usage is so important. Because he keeps dropping units in there for me to kill, and I keep getting an energy advantage. And he's got a probe droid. Here come the porgs. Here come the commandos. I could be able to really... Okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to kill that. We're going to kill that BB-9. And now the Durian and the commandos and the tank are all on this tower. And 5-4, there it is. It's gone. FYI, the tank, the clone tank, and the AT-AT become less useful the farther you get into the game, because it really does become a game about cycling through your deck. Using the BB-8, the BB-9, using the 1-cost Porg, the 1-cost Stormtrooper, using the 1-cost Battle Droid. You use those to cycle through your deck. The R2-D2 and the C2, they cycle through your deck and bring about the big units to do the killing. But you're not using as many tanks or snipers at that time. You're using a lot of swarming units and etc. We'll get to that later. But for now, hopefully this helps you guys to develop your defensive strategy. Build the 1 tower on the one side, fight the action on the other side, get the advantage, build your 2nd tower in the rear, and then you're in really good shape to fight your opponent. And with these starter decks, it should help you get through this at the beginning of the game. And always remember while you're doing that, NOOCH too good.